Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z discussion. Today, I'll be your host, D-Free, and I've got a very, very special guest on the video for me today. Once again, I'm joined by the lovely Real to Real. How's it going, bro?
Hey guys, just so good to be here. Thanks for having me on this one. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Called him pretty lovely there. No, it just kind of caught him off guard. I know it was. But no, today we're going to be talking about Gohan. In my opinion, Gohan is one of the most misunderstood characters in the entire series. And, you know, I think a lot of people look at Gohan in this certain light where they're like, okay, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, Mystic Gohan / Ultimate Gohan. You know, he's kicking ass all over the place. But they fail to realize who he really is. And that's kind of the reason why I wanted to do this video, kind of in light of the new information that we've got based on Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 6, where they're going to be doing that tournament. It appears that Gohan's going to be left behind. You know, a lot of people have theorized, or at this point, a few people I've heard have theorized that maybe Buu will fail the test and Gohan will fill in his place. I still doubt that's a reality, but I really just wanted to key in on Gohan because Rhymestyle uploaded a video and I just saw a lot of comments and they were just like, oh, Gohan's so weak now because Chichi this, Chichi that. And then I leave a comment and the responses I get, for the most part, are very positive, and they're like, hey, I'm glad somebody else understands Gohan's character. And I'm like, thank you. I'm glad you understand Gohan's character. So, like, no, I just wanted to shed some light on that today. So, Real to Real, give me a few of your thoughts here because I've been talking long enough, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm going to go back before we get started on this. I think you're right about the whole Chi-Chi stuff. The root of all the Gohan hate, I think, is really centered around Chi-Chi, first and foremost. And I think that that's always just a bad thing. Before we get into much about Chi-Chi, just in pure storytelling, it's always a trend that, like, when we have a strong male protagonist in most things, whenever a female comes into opposition of that, or at least like what we feel like that person should be doing. With Gohan, we want him to be fighting. And since Chi-Chi, we've only seen her basically come into opposition of that, a lot of people blame her for him not being able to fight. But I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think Gohan's always kind of been this way. Chi-Chi wants him to study and everything, but she's not the root of that issue with him being like a humble family man. Chi-Chi's just a strong female character, and like she's a strong female character, and that's why people hate her, I think.
I think so too. I mean, like I said several times, and like I was telling you before off the air, man, I can completely understand why people hate Chi-Chi as a character because she bitches a lot. She's hella annoying. It's true. I get it. But when you look at Gohan's character, from the moment that we were introduced to him in the Saiyan saga, the guy comes up, you know, he's introduced to Bulma, Krillin, and Roshi, and he's like, hey, I want to be a scholar. This guy's 4 years old. He wants to be a scholar at 4 years old. There's nothing you can say about that. Granted, you could say Chi-Chi's been in his head, she's been in his ear, you know, influencing him, this and that. Definitely. But the way to debunk that is when he gets 12, 13, 14, so on, he's realizing, hey, this is how life is. This is what I want to do. I don't have to follow through with being a scholar. She's not in his ear like that, like crazy, like, you know, you're going to do this. You're going to do this for the rest of your life. When Gohan actually broke free of her about 16, 17, when he started talking to Videl, he could have gotten out of that. If he really wanted to be a fighter, he could have just, you know, kept training. But what happened? What happened to Gohan? He stopped training completely. Completely. Again, he just doesn't, he's not a fighter. 7 years between after Cell to, I'm bouncing around a little bit, but after Cell to Majin Buu saga, he didn't train at all. And now he's just not doing it again. And it's like, you know, he's just not a fighter. Like, I don't understand what is so complicated about Gohan's character. And that's what kind of makes me mad, because while he's my favorite character, while I can appreciate what he has done in the series, while I can appreciate, you know, him being the second most important character in Dragon Ball Z for a long period of time, up until he actually took the spotlight from Goku in the Cell Saga for the most part, and then coming back as Ultimate versus Super Buu, I can appreciate all the things he's done. But if you look at every single fight this guy has been in, it's either been because he was forced into the fight or he just raged out. And by raged out, I mean like whenever he was just tired of watching Midoriya and Frieza and Zarbon pick on those Namekians, he popped in, you know, he's pissed off. And every single fight he's been in, Gohan never truly wanted to be in. That's the main thing. He never was a fighter from the jump. I don't understand. It's like people look at Gohan, like I said, in this light, like, oh my God, he could do no wrong. We just needed to fight, fight, fight. And they also look at Dragon Ball Z as just an action-oriented show. And I'm like, well, it's a lot of action. You're right. It's always been action from Dragon Ball. But if you look at the series analytically, if you really, really, truly, and honestly pay attention, it's not just about the fighting. There's a lot more going on. There's a lot of life stories, a lot of development, a lot of just, real morals in the story. Toriyama tries his best to implement other things here. It's so much deeper than just fighting. And I don't like that outlook on the series, especially on Gohan specifically. If he was never a fighter, he morphed into a bit of a fighter and then reverted back to how he truly is innately. Just how can you be mad about that? I mean, I look at Gohan as being the polar opposite to Goku. I really do, because he's his son. Yes, he loves his dad at the end of the day, but the reality is, listen, the reality is for Goku's character, while we could appreciate that Goku has saved the goddamn world, I don't know how many times, while we can appreciate that, the reality is that this guy is incredibly selfish. He doesn't, and I even was like, I recently uploaded a video about me watching Dragon Ball. There was a line where Goku was fighting Piccolo Daimao, and they were like, oh, Goku, because Piccolo Daimao was like, yo, they were saying that they can team up on him and fight him, and then Goku was like, no, you guys are gonna stay out of this. I want to enjoy this fight. And Roshi even said, Goku doesn't care about the fate of the Earth. He just cares about the fight. And I'm like, that is Goku specifically.
Yeah.
He does not give a shit about the Earth. He only cares about who he's fighting. And if he beats the opponent and winds up saving the Earth as a result of that, then great, everybody wins. But at the end of the day, that's all he cares about. But if you look at Gohan, he's always been more conscious to his surroundings, to the people around him, a lot more caring, where Goku was kind of naive and selfish for most of his childhood and his life. And then you look at Gohan as being a scholar and Goku being what's the word? Pretty stupid most of the part. Like, he's just a dumb guy. Like, literally, they're talking about this written test as well. Like, how the hell is Goku going to pass this written test? Seriously, he's a dumb guy.
He's borderline. He's borderline, just like mentally gone.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, Gohan is literally like his exact opposite. Goku is just the ape that fights. Gohan isn't, and it's the thing is, like, you look at all of the half Saiyans and they just, whether you, like I said before, if you want to look at GT as a legitimate continuation, fine. Goten and Trunks are not fighters in GT. If you look at the end of Dragon Ball Z at the tournament, they're not fighters there either. Goku explicitly stated that he had to make Goten start fighting again. Gohan, if he wanted to, could have trained up and participated in the 28th tournament. He didn't do it either. Listen, he's not a fighter. I'm sorry, Real to Real. I had so much to get off my chest.
No, that's absolutely fine. And in fact, like, all this you're talking about made me think of one thing, and I think this is actually a really good idea, or a good opinion. I'm tooting my own horn here. One of the most popular illustrations of Gohan in the entire series is future Gohan from Trunks' timeline. But if we look at that, I mean, that just proves that his character in that just proves how little of a fighter he is. He's not a genius. He's not anything. He doesn't care about fighting. He doesn't even understand fighting, because it wasn't, he fought the androids for 7 years, got his ass kicked for 7 years, and he wasn't able to do anything. He wasn't able
androids that were so much weaker than the ones in the main timeline.
Yeah, they're weaker, and he's like, he wasn't able to even get to the point of killing them. Why? Because he didn't have Goku. He didn't have Vegeta there to push them forward. Like, okay, we're just going to try to master Super Saiyan and all that. And if he could have just done that over the course of 7 years, as opposed to less than a year in the Room of Spirit and Time, without Goku there, Gohan doesn't know how to fight. He doesn't understand it all. He's resentful of it. His character is so against that concept that he can't even learn it. He can't even be forced into it by the darkness of Trunks' timeline. I mean, a lot of people have talked about this recently with Trunks too, but Gohan isn't a fighter. Even the most epic version of him, adult self, ready to kick ass and everything, is not a fighter. He doesn't know how to fight. He doesn't know how to win. All he knows is his anger, and if he doesn't have anyone like Goku or Vegeta or anyone out there to control that, then there's nothing he can do. The fact that he's actually now doing what he wants to do, which is what he's been doing the whole time since we met him. He was basically he was exploring, he wasn't
4 years old.
And I'll say this too, because you just rewatched Dragon Ball, and I'm rewatching it myself. the opening episode of Dragon Ball and the opening episode of Dragon Ball Z, you talk about like how they're kind of polar opposites, is basically the same thing with that like saber-toothed tiger thing chasing after Goku, and he's like messing with it because you know that shit's not scary, but like Gohan is like so afraid that he's just like running for his life. I mean,
he's timid as shit. Yeah. He's just like, I'm not. And Goku even said, "Hey, I've tried to train him, but he's not up to it." And Chi-Chi's not up to it either. He's like, I can't do it. He's just not that type of person.
No, no, and you know, like there's a lot of filler there. Like even the filler points to that. Like Chi-Chi's like, "You're not going to Namek," and Gohan's like, "Yeah, I'm going to Namek because the reason everyone's dead is it's my fault. Like I could have killed Nappa, and then like no one else would be hurt. Mr. Piccolo wouldn't be dead. We wouldn't have this problem. But like, so he made the choice to go, but it wasn't because like, oh, I gotta go get stronger and everything. It's like, oh my god, this is my fault. I have to fix it because Gohan is inherently a very good person, and he doesn't want to leave the cards out on the table. And you and I did a video back where we just couldn't publish it, but a really long one about like how I think Gohan's gonna die. I'm gonna say I think Gohan's
God damn it!
No, but like, the thing is, like everyone,
expect that.
if everyone wants one like cool thing from Gohan and everything, why not die? Why not go out fighting even if he can't win, and even if he knows he can't win? Because that's Gohan's character. We've seen him do that before. We saw him do it when he had to save Trunks. We saw him do it. It's like we saw him like fight when he knew he couldn't win against Cell and succeed and everything. That's Gohan's character. That's something I would like to see. But I agree with you like wholeheartedly in all this. Gohan is not a fighter. Gohan is just simply a very nice person. He's a scholarly person. He's smart. He's not Goku. Everyone has to stop thinking that he's Goku. I'm sorry.
And that's all I can really say. I mean, the reality is, like, with this upcoming tournament, like, there's no stakes, like I was telling you. There's really, as far as we know, at this point, there is no damn stakes. It's just petty, and it's just Champa wants the planet for the food. And all they're going to do is use the damn Dragon Balls to swap these two Earths, the one that has no humanity from Universe 6 with the one that we are accustomed to from Universe 7, and swap them. All they're doing is swapping them. The inhabitants will still be alive. Gohan will still be alive. There's no reason for him to go fight in this tournament, literally. The only reason Gohan has ever fought, and I wanted to get this out, is because he's had no choice. There's no reason at this point. Like, his daughter was just born. He's a scholar. They even made it a point to explicitly state in the Dragon Ball Super like 3 or 4 times now. They even give him a few slides like about him just being a scholar now. Like seriously, but that is what they are going for with this character. They have said it from the jump. 20 years ago, they said it from the jump that he is a scholar.
But he's also,
you can't be mad.
But they also like, what was it in episode 17? I mean, he also admitted like he's still like Great Saiyaman's on the side. Like. Gohan's still doing like what he wanted to do. Everyone hates the Great Saiyaman start. I think that's actually like one of the most like definitely one of the funniest things.
I think Great Saiyaman is a pretty interesting look at Gohan's character.
That's probably just in terms of storytelling and everything. It's actually perfect because of like just how dark everything with Cell was and everything. Jumping from that into the Great Saiyaman arc was actually a little bit of brilliant storytelling because we needed that down before we got into the Ultra Dark Buu saga and like everything that was going to happen in that time. But like I actually think like the Great Saiyaman stuff is like perfect for his character because that's exactly what Gohan would do. It's like he's not a fighter. He doesn't want to go around and everything. He just wants to protect people. Like that he's a kind-hearted person that if he can stand up and help people, he will do it. And like he's a nerd. He's super dorky. So yeah, he would dress up like a mixed match Power Ranger and like just go off and fight crime. Like that's Gohan.
It's cool. It's like that's the character I've always known and loved. Like seriously, it's not just the fights that make him a great character. It's everything else around him. I mean, Gohan has had so much character development. We saw him grow up from 4 years old. What's the guy now? Like 19, 20 now at this point. He's had so much development. Like seriously, and I just love him all the way around. And it's just my only problem is that I don't know how people can't see this coming from a mile away. If he does take part in the tournament, then great. I mean, I can always appreciate watching Gohan fight, maybe getting another power-up of some sort. Whatever the case is, I can appreciate that. But if he doesn't, hey, I'm content because I've seen him do stuff. He's actually going to have an episode where he's fighting again in the next couple episodes here, so it's not like we're never going to see it again, albeit it's, you know, Resurrection F stuff. But, like, I don't know, I'm just content. Like, you could see this coming from a mile away. I'm just happy, honestly, as cliche as it sounds, I'm just happy that, you know, he's able to provide and do what he wants to do. Because, like I said earlier, as much as we appreciate Goku and Vegeta for everything they've done, nothing they've done supports their families. At the end of the day, if you look at it with a real aspect, like, seriously.
Vegeta doesn't need to support his family.
Well, yeah, that's another thing.
Gohan doesn't need to support his family either, but...
Yeah.
But Goku's just a lazy ass.
Well, the saving the universe doesn't pay the bills, yeah. Okay? Bulma's the richest person on the freaking planet, so she doesn't count. So Vegeta gets a pass, but Goku's family lives like peasants, despite the Ox King being fairly rich from what I can remember.
Yeah.
And Goku being the protagonist, their family lives like peasants. Mm-hmm. And as far as Gohan is concerned, it seems like they don't dip into Hercule's money too much. No. So I still think he has to, you know, take care of them. And I think that's great. You know, he's got a daughter now. It's all good. Even in GT, the guy's a goddamn scholar. Like, come on now. Dragon Ball is Dragon Ball, canon or not. It's the same.
You know, no, I think it's more important that he's a scholar in Super. I mean, everyone likes to give like, the almighty word of Toriyama, but like even Toriyama's just like, come on, guys, this is Gohan. And you know, like I've told you before, we talked about this. You know, everyone's like, okay, Gohan sucks, and my argument is look at everything we know from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z up until this point. You know, Whis is obviously, but who's the best like mentor? Who's the best person to ever like do anything, teach anyone anything? And you're like, when I asked you this, you were like, it's Roshi. I love Roshi. And I'm like, no, it's Gohan. He taught Videl how to fly in a day. Like, Gohan's a pretty badass. And also in Dragon Ball Online, Toriyama wrote that, like, Toriyama had involvement with this, that Gohan teaches every, like, human race how to become people like Krillin and Tenshinhan and all them. Like, he writes books and stuff, scholarly articles that get people stronger because he knows both worlds, and he can express both worlds in a very articulate way that's beyond anyone else in anything that we've seen thus far. And I think that that's actually a really cool idea, and I would really like for Super to go that way. But beyond that, you're right, and I think the first statement you made was Gohan. People can't get over Gohan because they love Gohan, Super Saiyan 2, Teen Gohan. And that's just not him. That was him being forced into it. I mean, even the scene where he transforms is him being forced into it.
That whole fight was him being forced into it. Cell was literally forcing him to do it.
Yeah.
Literally.
Goku was forcing him to do it. Like, everyone was forcing him to, like, the whole point of that fight, they say it so many times, is the whole point of this fight is to get Gohan backed in a corner. Because unless he's backed into a corner and people are telling him to do this stuff, he won't do crap.
Exactly.
And that's just his character. I just can't believe that so much of the community has just like is so annoyed that Gohan is just kind of falling to the wayside. It was gonna happen.
It was gonna happen, and I think that, you know, everything Gohan's done, it's not falling on deaf ears. It's definitely appreciated, and I think that, like I said, he's going to get another moment or two maybe in the series. But if it honestly were to end, I'd be content, and I can call myself the biggest Gohan fan in the world. I really can. But at the end of the day, when you look at this type of stuff, you still got to be realistic. I know there's a lot of young people out there that just look at the fighting, and that's the only reason they care about Dragon Ball. They don't care about the slice of life episodes. They don't care about the character development. They don't care about anything but action. I get that. But at the end of the day, when you look at the series as a whole and you say, okay, all I care about is fighting, all you're doing is downplaying the work of Toriyama. And Toriyama has put in so much work to make Gohan the character that he is today. So that's the last little thing I had to say. Is there anything else you wanted to say, man?
No, I think I'm all out of ideas for it now.
Cool. No, I was like, man, you guys, I hit up Real to Real, and I was like, Mark here, and I was like, man, I I gotta do this video because just like there's just comments everywhere and just Gohan. It's just like, this is just eating up at me. Like I've said before in my videos, I don't do news because stuff comes out while I'm at work, and it's like I get home and I'm like, okay, well everybody's already done their video, so I'm not gonna do mine. There's no point. Everybody's already seen a million people's videos. So I was like, you know what, this is just ridiculous. Gohan everywhere. Let me explain Gohan's character. Let me explain it, because I had been feeling like I just wanted to, talking to Mark here has calmed me down a little bit, being able to do the video, but also talking to him a little bit before the video, because I was going to come on and just be like, you dumb motherfuckers think that this and this, and I was just like, yeah, okay, we're good. No, so be sure to check out Mark Real to Real down below in the description. If you guys enjoy his content, be sure to hit him up with the subscribe and some likes over there. But yeah, that's it for us. Is there anything else you want to say, man?
No, but thanks for having me on. It's been a lot of fun. I like this discussion.
Those are pretty long ones. Definitely one of the longer discussions on my channel. But
it needed to be said. This stuff needs to be said.
Exactly. Now, it was great having you on. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Peace out, guys.